The TrimTramp 3-fence miter table Model 125 is a precision, cost-effective device that converts a 7 1/4 or 8 1/4 circular saw into an efficient portable miter tool. It's especially suited for cutting crown molding, picture frames, and shelving, and also for building fences and decks. It cuts wood, plastic, even vinyl siding on a cold day, all cleanly and accurately. Here's how it works. A saw is mounted on a universal sole plate that slides along a set of parallel guide bars above the work table. A template accurate to 2/1000ths of an inch is used to align the saw blade perfectly with the direction of travel. This hook retracts the saw blade's guard just enough to clear a workpiece when the saw is pulled backwards. The blade's teeth cut downward, providing absolutely splinter-free cuts. With a TrimTramp 3-fence miter table, the saw moves, not the workpiece, which is held firmly against the fence. You can cross-cut up to 16 inches wide. Now that's wider than the capacity of any chop saw or sliding compound miter saw on the market. To cut a bevel, simply tilt your saw to the desired angle. When cutting miters, use one of the adjustable fences, which are stopped precisely at 45 degrees. TrimTramp manufactures the only tools in the world that require no setup or adjustments for the 3 common cuts. For a compound miter, used when installing crown molding, look on the tabletop for instructions. It tells you where to set both the miter fence and the bevel. Cut the crown mold on the flat. It's that easy. It is less hazardous than other circular sawing devices. The guide bars minimize the potential of contact between fingers and the blade. Plus, a metal flip stop on the front of the left-hand guide bar ensures that the saw will not come out of the channels when in use. It's versatile. The saw is always portable, going from tabletop to handheld mode instantly. The universal sole plate remains attached to the saw. The TrimTramp Model 300 for professional contractors can cross-cut 24 inches in one pass, splinter-free.
Hello, fellow carpenters. We would like to introduce you to TrimTramp's line of contractor tools. This is the TrimTramp Professional Sliding Compound Miter Saw Table, Model 300. For some jobs, mounted in a Black & Decker workmate. This sole plate clamps beneath your 7 1/4 or 8 1/4 inch circular saw. A template aligns your blade within 2/1000ths of an inch for perfect cuts. The sole plate is engaged to travel between 2 guide bars. A hook holds the saw's guard up just high enough to permit the saw to be pulled backwards to cut like a radial arm saw. Why is pulling the saw backwards important? Look what happens when I push a saw forwards the old-fashioned way through vinyl fencing. Jagged edges. By pulling the saw backwards in a TrimTramp saw table, the rear teeth cut downwards against the table, giving clean, unsplintered cuts. The front teeth follow exactly in the rear teeth's path, absolutely splinter-free, because the blade is perfectly aligned. The cross-cut fence flips up at the touch of a button. Watch how sharp and clean my cuts are. Did you notice that the guide bars help keep my fingers away from the blade? Left and right hand miter fences are stopped exactly at 45 degrees. To trim a door opening, make a cross cut and 2 matching 45-degree miter cuts without changing a miter setting. The corner joints are clean and precise. Model 300 has 2 adjustable fences for cutting various angles. Cut 45-degree bevels in baseboard to make 90-degree corner joints. Hold the bottom edge against the cross-cut fence for the first cut. Then hold the top edge against the fence to cut the matching piece. See? We have a perfect 90-degree corner joint. For a tighter joint, cut the bevel off with a coping saw and fit against a cross-cut piece. A bevel cut is also used to splice baseboards. You can combine a miter and a bevel in the same cut for a compound miter, which is used for installing crown molding. This is a snap with the Model 300. Complete instructions for common crown mold cuts are marked right on the table to avoid expensive mistakes. It tells me to hold the crown against the miter fence at this line, which happens to be 35.3 degrees, a number I don't have to calculate each time. It says I should set the saw's bevel to 30 degrees. You'll notice that I'm cutting the molding flat on its back, not trying to cut it standing up at some strange angle. Follow the instructions for the matching piece and see? I have a perfect 90 degrees outside corner joint. What could be more simple? The Model 300 gives you more than just the settings for the common crown and corner angles. Complete instructions are provided on this chart for cutting any crown molding angle to fit any corner angle on the flat. No tool in the world has provided this information until now. Think of the safety and accuracy problems you'll have when using a chop saw to cut wide molding on its end. Leon Frechette, writing in Building and Remodeler News, says that the TrimTramp Model 300 is the best tool for cutting the new large plastic moldings like this. Cut crown moldings on the flat up to 16 inches wide. The saw table also cuts shelving and doors up to 24 inches wide, twice the width of any sliding compound miter saw, and up to 2 inches thick, always splinter-free. For best results, we recommend a firm pivot foot saw with accurate bevel markings and a brake, but any good pivot foot saw gives quality results. Attached